This is Educated Artistry. I am your host, fellow lash artist, hype girl, and business coach, Kayla Hertz. Listen along for knowledge, insight, and education into the lash industry. This podcast is created to help you make the best business decisions for your own lash career. You all deserve the lash career of your dreams, and I want our weekly chats to help get you there. Get ready for a lot of transparency and some real talk. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Educated Artistry. Are you overcomplicating your service menu? Now, this is something that I get asked questions about all the time because I only offer one full set and one fill. And people all the time are like, how do you do that? How do you explain it to your clients? Why do you do that? And maybe you've wondered if your service menu is too complicated as it is. And by today's episode, you are going to understand why and what the benefits are for having a simplified service menu and how you can set this up for your lash business as well. So, is it hard for clients to know which service to book with you? Are you constantly having to readjust the appointments because they booked the wrong service? Are you offering like volume, classic, hybrid, mega volume, textured with all these different weeks at 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week that make it really confusing for clients to know which one that they should book? Do you have clients book a certain service because it's cheaper, but it doesn't actually align with the desired look that they are going for? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you're probably overcomplicating your service menu and making it really confusing for clients to book with you. And it doesn't have to be this way at all. So I'm going to break this down from a lash artist perspective of what I used to have, what I did, and why it didn't really work or make sense. And I'm also going to share with you guys how I have my service menu set up now, how I communicate it with clients, and maybe this will be something that will help you simplify your service menu. So I want to start right off with having multiple set offers. For example, having classic, hybrid, volume, mega volume, texture, angel sets, like having all of these different kinds of sets that we have on our service menu. I want you guys to remember clients don't understand what these terms mean, right? For example, with like mega volume, they just assume that is like the fullest, craziest volume lash that you can get. And however, you can create really dense full sets with mega volume, you can also create really beautiful, light, fluffy sets. And now that we have sets that are trending like the angel lash set, those are something that do use 0.02 lashes or 0.03s, right? So, really, what the client are looking for is a desired result. And it is our job as the artist to use whatever we have in our arsenal with our different diameters and curls and lengths and styling to help them achieve that desired result. We need to base this on their eye shape and their natural lash line. So, also, too, I used to have clients come in when I had offered like classic full set, hybrid full set, volume full set. And many of you guys have probably had this happen as well, where a client comes in, they book, let's say, a classic full set, and they show you pictures for inspiration. And maybe it's somebody that has a classic full set on, but they have like 200 natural lashes per eye. They have a really like strong lash line to where classics can look really full on them. But the client that you have, maybe it's a more mature client or a client that just doesn't have as strong of a natural lash line. So classics are not going to look like that on them. But what they are thinking is like, oh, this is classic. This is what it's going to look like on me. They are showing you what their desired look is, what their desired result is going to be. So therefore, you as the artist needs to create that and not put yourself in this box of like, oh, they booked classics, so I can only use 0.15s or maybe 0.18s because that's what they booked, right? So this is something that I just always hated because I was like, these are classic lashes and they're beautiful, but unfortunately, your lash line is not going to achieve the same result with classic lashes. Maybe you need to sprinkle in some volume and do more of a hybrid or do like the angel set or stuff like that in order to give them that desired look. So I set up my full sets now, and this is where your true artistry can come in, where I just offer a custom full set for my clients. This way, the client can come in, they can show me their inspiration and what their desired look can be, and I can use everything in my arsenal to create that based on their natural lash line and their eye shape, along with the desired look that they're going for. I have my full sets booked up to 3 hours because I do know that within 3 hours, I can pretty much create any kind of set that I'm going to use. And because I get a lot of people say, well, Kayla, like I only book out 2 hours for classic lashes. And I was the same. I used to have a classic lash full set that was 2 hours, and then I had a volume lash full set that was 3 hours. But what I found sometimes, guys, especially now that pre made lashes have gotten so good too, and you can use those to save time. And sometimes a client will come in and get a classic full set, but they have so many lashes, it can still take me just as long to do a classic full set. And classic lashes, you guys know, like you have to be super precise with your placement. Like you cannot have any flaws, right? So I felt like I always kind of wanted a little bit more time to perfect my classics. So how I set up my full sets is it is just a custom full set. And I describe that in my description where I say, that all full sets are customized to your natural lash line, to your desired look, to your eye shape. I do a face studies diagram to make sure that we are giving you the best result that you can get with your natural lashes and make sure that those stay healthy. So this is something that has really helped a lot too, because I don't feel as an artist that I'm stuck in a box. If a client comes in and they book a classic full set, I'm not like, oh, I have to do classic. But what you're showing me is actually going to be more of like hybrid or volume or adding in some light texture or anything like that as well. Clients stick on to like these trending words in the industry where it's like texture, mega volume, now angel set. I see a lot more of clients going around and looking for that, but they don't really know what these things mean, right? We as artists know what these mean. So I don't offer multiple set offers for different lashes. It is all completely custom to the client. I also will add this because I know a lot of people like, they say hybrid. That's another big one a couple years ago that people would always say like, oh, I want hybrid because they felt like it was natural, but not like full volume. But still, like, once again, guys, hybrid can be full depending on what diameter you're using and how you're layering and what the lash line looks like. You can still create really full, dense sets with any type of lash that you're using. So for me too, like the first thing I took off my menu was hybrid lashes because what I felt like most of the time, and I feel like a lot of artists probably need to do this as well, if you're going to offer hybrid lashes, it should truly be 50% classic, 50% volume. Because I would find that I would end up doing a hybrid lash set and then they'd be like, oh, can we do a little bit more volume this time? Oh, a little bit more. And then by the end, I was doing like 80% volume, 20% classics. And like, why even have a separate service at that point? Sometimes a hybrid could technically just mean you're adding in like 20 spikes on the lashes or giving a little bit of texture. So I completely took hybrids off my menu. I went to classic and volume, and then now it is just straight a custom full set. Having your service description as up to 3 hours, that way, if you do get done early, because there are clients where it's just easier to isolate their lashes, maybe they don't have as many natural lashes, you're just able to get done a little bit quicker, where you can have clients that are a little bit more, the lashes are a little harder to isolate, they're a little bit more difficult, maybe they get up and use the restroom. It always gives me enough time, so it's up to 3 hours. So no matter what, they're paying the service price, even if I get done in 2.5 hours or if I take the full 3 hours, because they are paying for the end result of that. So that is where I am with not doing multiple set offers. Now, another thing that a lot of you guys do, and I did it myself, is offer weekly fills. Okay. So if you have your service menu set up where it's classic, hybrid, volume, mega volume, and then for each one of those, you have 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week, and then hybrid 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week. That's just a lot on your service menu. And it can be super freaking confusing for your clients because like weekly fills never has made sense to me. Well, it has made sense to me, but it always was kind of something where I was like, why are we doing it this way? And really what it came down to is that's what everybody else was doing in the industry and had weekly fills. So I felt like I needed to do it as well. But all of my fills now are based on having 50% retention. And you guys may notice when you have some clients that can come in every 2 weeks and it's like, yeah, you need a fill. And you have some clients that can come in every 3 weeks and they're at that 50% retention. I have some clients that come in every 4 weeks and they still have 50% retention because everybody is different on their natural lash line, their lifestyle, their preference just of how often they like having their lashes filled. I have some clients that come in on the dot, they have a reoccurring appointment every 2 weeks. Even then, I'm like, you can go out to 3 weeks if you want. Like your retention is still 60, 70% of lashes, but they prefer their lashes to always look super full and they don't mind coming in every 2 weeks. So that is something too that no matter what, I just do 50% retention. You have to have 50% retention for it to be considered a fill. And once you have your clients for a little bit, you kind of know where they land on how often they need to come in based on how their lashes usually do. So when it is a first time client, I usually have them come in for their first fill at 2 weeks, no matter what, just so we can see how things are doing and how things are going, and if there's any like thing we need to like re-educate on aftercare or see how their retention is, then we can kind of see where they're at. And then usually for their next fill, I will say, okay, you know what, your lashes look great. They're nice and clean. You're taking great care of them. Let's book your next appointment for 3 weeks. Now, if you have any large fallout or you're feeling like they're looking a lot more thin than they do right now at your 2 week appointment, then please reach out to me and we will accommodate and reschedule or get you in earlier. And then most of the time, you're going to know from there kind of what their pattern is on how their lashes are lasting and how often they need to come in for full sets. I always like to think of it this way too. Like when you do a full set, you're like creating this art piece, and now your job is to maintain the art piece. Fills should never look like you need a lash fill. Okay. Like you should never be like, dang, you got gaps in your lashes. Like you need a fill. I have so many clients that come in and they say, they're like, oh my gosh, somebody just complimented my lashes the other day. And I was like, girl, I need to go in for a fill. But they still look good. They're just a little bit, they're just a little bit lighter than what they are right after they get their lashes filled. So that is something too that I've really educated my clients, that fills are maintenance. And you should never look like you need a fill. If you look like you needed a fill, you went too long. Another thing with weekly fills is like, where do we cut this off? Okay. If somebody books at 2 weeks and 5 days, like, does that still count as a 2 week fill? If somebody books 3 weeks and 5 days, does that still count as a 3 week fill? Like, this was something when I offered weekly fills, I was super, like, I was really unsure on how to do it. I'm like, okay, if it's 3 weeks and 1 day, is that now a 4 week fill? So it was just something that was really confusing, even for myself as an artist, and then for the clients, because I would have sometimes, and maybe this has happened to you guys too, where clients, they were booking out their appointments, and if I didn't have a 3 week a fill available, they would just book a 2 week fill instead, because that's what was available. They're like, oh, well, we can just do that. And it's like, well, no, that's not really how it works, right? Because usually if you're offering weekly fills, you're adding like a higher cost and maybe extra time to the service as well. But that is something that was really confusing for the clients and also really confusing for myself as the artist. Now, when you have this simplified menu, where my service menu now is a custom full set, which I book out 3 hours for, a standard lash fill, which is 90 minutes, because if somebody's coming in with 50% or more retention, I should be able to get them back to 100% coverage within half of that amount of time. So that's why I book out an hour and a half. And then I do offer an extended lash fill, which is a 2 hour fill option. Now, I do this because there are some times that maybe a client does go a little bit past their last appointment. They go a couple extra days and they need a little bit extra time. Or I have clients that like to book the extended fills because they're going to go on vacation. This is something too, if they want to change up the style of the lashes that they currently have, then I have them book an extended fill because I need a little extra time to remap and all of that good stuff as well. I even have some clients that come in at their every 3 week appointment, and we do extended fills every time because they have so many natural lashes that I tell them, like, hey, you have more than average of the natural lashes that most people have, which is amazing. Like, pat on your back. That's like the best case scenario. However, I do need a little bit more time in order to get you back to 100% coverage every time because you have so many lashes. And that is just something you explain to your client, and usually they're happy to, come in and they want to make sure that their lashes are full and they're 100% covered and they look great every time. So that is an option that I have as a secondary, fill, but those are it. I have 3 services on my menu and that is it. What I love about this is it gives me the complete artistic freedom. Another thing that I hated when I had my service menu set up where it was classic, hybrid, volume, mega volume, and then all the different weeks, is when somebody would come in and they'd be like, oh, can we start adding volume, or can we add this, or can we add that? And I'd be like, oh, like, you have this booked, this other service takes a little bit more time, or whatever that is. So it just felt like I was always in this box and I couldn't have that artistic freedom to give the client what they wanted and to be able to use whatever that I wanted in order to give them that desired result. So this now is something that if a client wants to change things up, if they want more classic lashes and they want to go more natural, if they want to do the angel set, if they want to go full mega volume, I have made sure that everything has enough time that I can give them that service and give them that look within the fill. I want to take a quick break from today's episode to introduce you guys to our sponsor, The Lash Co. It is a lash supply store located in Southern California, and their main goal is to provide lash supplies that are high quality but affordable, cute, and effective, and also easy to use. They firmly believe that the more you love the tools you're working with, the least lashing is going to actually feel like work. They have 2 locations and they offer in-store shopping and online. So you can go in and you can touch and you can try the products. I am obsessed with more people offering these in-store shopping experiences, guys, for us lash artists because we haven't had this. So if you are in Southern California, then you definitely need to go check out Lash Company. This is a great way that you can test products before you buy them. You can ask questions. You can just try them out and see if even they're your jam. Kathy from The Lash Co. definitely sent me a cute little package, guys. And I had never tried their products before and I was obsessed. I think I found my new favorite tweezer actually. It's called the Prince and it has the micro grip technology on it as well. I don't know if any of you guys have tried a tweezer with the micro grip, but it is amazing. And they sent me some eye gels and a really cute lash smear that all my clients, I started handing it to them at the end of their service. And they're like, where the heck is this from? I need one for home because it's so cute. It says you are magic on the back. It was just like the little detail that clients are obsessed with. But that tweezer, the Prince, oh my gosh, I need like 5 more of them. I got the pink one, so it's super cute. But you guys should go check out The Lash Co. and you can use code EDUCATEDARTISTRY in all caps for a 15% off discount for all of their products. That is going to be code EDUCATEDARTISTRY at shoplashco.com for 15% off of your order. And if you get that tweezer, you guys need to send me a message because I know you are going to be freaking obsessed. I also have the link and the code in the show notes of this episode. So enjoy, happy shopping, and thank you to our sponsor, The Lash Co. So, once again, just to wrap this up, and this was like a really quick episode for you guys, custom sets and having a simplified service menu is going to give you that complete artistic control and really make it simplified for your client and yourself as the artist as well. Now, how I describe this to my clients, and if you currently have this big service menu and you're wanting to bring it down, first things first, I want you guys to remember your business, your rules. I get asked these questions all the time when it comes to pricing, changing your service menu, changing your policies. The people will say, "Well, Kayla, like what if my clients get mad? What are they going to think? How do I tell them?" You guys, your business, your rules. You can change your policies at any time. You can change how you have things set up at any time. That's why you're the owner. That's why you're the boss. That's why you started this. You can change these things up. And obviously, you're going to highlight the benefits for your client, right? If a client comes in and you're changing this from instead of like having classic hybrid volume sets and you're going to do just one full set option and maybe it is a price increase for them, but how I would highlight the benefit is like, hey, this way now, if you ever want to change anything up, if you ever want to add volume, if you ever want to add texture, or if you want to stick with classic lashes, we have complete freedom to do so and to change things up anytime. If you have an event and you want a little bit extra glam, then we have complete freedom to be able to change things up and do that. And with the 50% retention rule now, your lashes are always going to look amazing. That is a huge benefit for the client. And maybe they will not have to come in as often. Maybe a client comes in every 2 weeks right now and they don't come back with 50% retention even at 2 weeks. So you're never able to get them back to that 100% coverage. And so now you're telling them, hey, we're going to have you come in when you have 50% retention. So that way I can get you back to 100% coverage. And when you get your client back to 100% coverage, guess what, guys? They can go longer in between their fills before they get back to that 50%. If you're only getting them to like 75% coverage because they came in with like 10 lashes on and you just did what you could in the time that you had booked, they're going to like notice that they need a fill, in 2 weeks or in a week and a half because you weren't able to get them back to 100% coverage. So making sure that we're highlighting these benefits for the client and, transitioning them and educating them on why this is actually going to be better and benefit them. Right. And even if it comes down to like pricing or how often they come in, you can say, hey, yes, this is going to be a little bit more expensive, but having you come in at 3 weeks instead of every 2 weeks is actually going to save you money in the long run and time, right? Time is money because you're not having to come in as often. So these are things, highlight the benefits for your clients. Don't be afraid to change things up because it's your business. You make the rules. And you can set up this service menu a lot more simple for your clients and give yourself this artistic freedom as well. And I will say, clients, for me, my clients, they have loved this because it kind of takes like that guessing out of the equation where they're looking at the service menu like, do I want classic? Do I want hybrid? What is that going to look like? I would notice for myself, I would have a lot of clients book classic lashes and then they would come in and they would show me pictures and they were like volume or hybrid. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not what you booked. But they chose the classic option because it was a little cheaper and they were really unsure on what they wanted. So a quick way that I describe this, that I have it like listed on my service menu and how I like talk to clients about this when they say, well, like, I don't know what kind of lashes I want. I just say full sets are customized to achieve the look you desire with your eye shape and lash health in mind. Each of us is unique when it comes to the natural lash line and what it can hold to keep the integrity of your lashes. Lash extensions come in a variety of lengths, diameters, and curls, giving me the ability to create any kind of set for you and completely customize it. Each set is customized by performing a face studies diagram to enhance your natural features and bring balance to your eyes. And so that is how I describe this because clients don't understand what a 0.02, a 0.15, a 0.07, what's pre-made and pro-made and classic, and what's a C curl and a D curl and a CC curl and an M curl. Like they have no idea. No idea. It's our job as the artist to be able to create the set based on their desired look. This is another thing I'll leave you guys with. Clients coming in and saying like, oh, I want what this girl has. Like you could do the same exact set. You could do 8 through 12, CC curl 0.07, 4D fans, and a cat eye. You could do that on every single person, and it is going to look different on every single person. It's not going to look good on every single person. So this is where our artistic freedom needs to come into play. So to wrap this up, this is how I have my service menu set up, where it's one full set, and then I have the two fill options where one's an hour and a half, one is 2 hours. I gave you guys kind of how I describe these to the clients and kind of all the reasons why I don't love having the multiple service options or the weekly fills. So let me know what you guys think. Send me a message on Instagram. Let me know if this is something that you've been contemplating on adjusting your service menu and changing it for your clients. And I would love to hear your guys' feedback on what you think and if this is something that you're going to implement into your business. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day and we will see you next time. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Educated Artistry. You can find me on Instagram at Educated Artistry Podcast or KK Artistry. I am also on TikTok at KK Artistry. Listen, subscribe, and please leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. If you're interested in advertising on the podcast, please email me educatedartistrypodcast@gmail.com.